Hello everybody, Average Gamer here. Welcome to another episode of Supreme Ruler Ultimate as Sweden. So in this episode we're going to try to finish off this war with the Danes. Can't see it lasting too much longer, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure we've got them on the run. It was going to be a 1 hour special, actually, in regards to playing. Which is pretty good. One of the things I want to do real quick, I'm a little concerned. So Russia right now hates us, as well as a lot of other countries around us. But Russia is the #1, in my eyes, threat to our military right now. What I want to do is I actually want to deploy our entire force at this point and kind of put them along the Russian border. Just because I have this sneaking suspicion that they're not to be trusted. So we're actually going to order pretty much the majority, if not almost all, of our ground forces to except for you guys. I should say 20. It's 10. It's only deploying 10 at a time. But I want to kind of keep those units over there on the snipe. Was it the Danes are actually relocating? Tension levels are gone up. That tells me the Russians are I don't want to say mobilized, but they're probably preparing. Basically, I don't want to get caught flat-footed here. One of the things I want to do too is I want to start building up a cheap military fighting force. There we go. So that way, if the Russians do assault us, we can actually hit them a lot faster. I think this is what's left of their ground forces. So they're evacuating the main island there. Yeah, it does. I don't like that sound. Whenever I hear that sound, I'm thinking the Russians are preparing. I just have this bad feeling. I'm gonna colonize for now. So technically they're gonna be our let's just say our puppet for a little bit. But I am very nervous that the Russians are going to attack. guys into reserve for the moment. A little while till we get good aircraft. In the meantime, warships. We're going to start building like ASAP type thing. So with quantity over quantity. We're going to keep deploying our forces east at this point. Because one of two things will happen. The Germans will declare war, or the Russians are going to declare war. Either way, we're going to be kind of, well, at least with the Germans declaring war. If the Germans were to declare war, they have to go through Denmark first, so that's not so bad. Almost all light infantry and armor. Okay, you're all going to actually go up here. Send you up here. So our main part of our defense would be here, to kind of push in this way and hold the Russians here, and then push down and hold the Russians here. So we'd hold the Russians here, hold the Russians here, hold them pretty much here as well and here, and then just take Murmansk and all that stuff. I mean, the Russians have a military probably of, what, 1.5 million at this point? Right there. 1.7. So they have lost forces and units. Oh, it's probably the... Oh, yeah, that's right. We were engaging... Yeah, I'm thinking the Russians, because we were engaging their units along the border here. Yeah, if my money were on any nation, it would be the Russians attacking us. Yeah, not so much the Germans. The plan would be to fortify these towns and villages here as well. For aircraft, do we have any of our... Our Air Force took a huge beat. I'm going to send a couple UAVs on the border. So this is going to be hopefully just a little 1 hour special. It's going to be the only recording I'm going to be having for this day, so... How many are these? It's 3. Okay, good. It's going to have 1, 2, and then the third one's just going to go like this. So you... I'll tell you to go all the way down to about here. We have our line of sight map selection on. I'm going to get you to go like so. You're going to fly down to here. So if they push, they're going to push from here and obviously right here. These are the two main spots they're going to push from. So I mean, if we can hold them here for a while, we're laughing. Which means we can maybe make some fortifications along this spot here and along this spot and pretty much hold them. Actually wouldn't be too bad. Because they have like the largest, one of the largest militaries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some light infantry. Let's take half these guys down here for the moment. So I just don't want, if we were to all of a sudden to go to war with them, I don't want at least our fortifications to immediately fall into the Russians' hands here. 2, 3. Boom. 1, 2, 3. There. Light infantry. Slowly deploy our light infantry to these locations, and our mechanized units are going to stay in reserve. One transport. One transport. Anti-air can go there. Anti-air can go there as well. You guys can all go there, and this supply truck will be delivered to that location instead. Both of you can go up. You can go there. So their light infantry can go to that spot. One more anti-air and another anti-air. And the rest will go up there. Same with all of them. Well, those guys go there, so we have our first little defensive line here. Now, I am contemplating putting armor on this defensive line as well, which might not actually be a bad idea. Well, obviously we want to prioritize infantry on this thing. Yeah, probably gonna have one piece of anti-tank weaponry per. Oh, let's move that artillery gun there at the moment. I believe I wanted 4 infantry per. And 3 guns there. It's 3 guns, 2 anti-tank. Or it's 3 guns and then 2 anti-air. Let's send you to that location. 444. 4, and the Russians still haven't attacked, which is a good sign. Maybe because I've got troops along the, I guess you could say along the border. A little nervous the Russians are going to attack. But, Doesn't look like. Maybe if I annexed Denmark, they would have attacked. Like I'm like, I wonder if I did this, would they attack? And then I go around and I actually turn around and do it because I'm a genius. So let's provoke the Russians. Uh-oh. Okay, for a second there, the airplane kind of froze there in the air for a second. I was just like, uh-oh. I think the Russians are preparing to attack. 3. So that's 4, that's 5. This is the part where the Russians actually now do attack. Yes, armor, infantry, and artillery all situated and set up. We have our fast attack set up as well. I didn't know I had light infantry here. Let's move you up. These guys should be able to hold their own. I can't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to. We will have a bit of a soft spot right here. It looks like. So I don't think they should be able to go this way, theoretically. Now the question is, do I want to add more artillery? Well, we're going to be building cheap artillery as well, which I think we are. Yeah, we're building a couple of them. So we'll have a lot of them to deploy to these locations. No matter what anyways, so they'll fill in the gaps like here, 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 there, maybe even there, yeah. And that's just cheap regular artillery, so that's no big deal. And their plan is basically, our plan for these guys is just to hold. All these guys do is just hold from the Russian advance. Stop the Russians from stopping us. And there you go. Then I believe that would be the next spot right here. Or we can kind of go across. Across here would not be nice. There's lake and then there's that. So I mean there's this. That opens up a push from this way though. So I really don't want to. Four will go there. And 3 goes there. Okay, the Russians are smart. They'd attack now. So our fast reaction force for any of these things that get pushed out is basically going to be these guys here. and these guys here. So these are going to be our reserves. I'm actually going to put these guys right there. They're going to stay there. That sounds me nervous. Pretty much up here, I'm not too concerned with fortifications. Mainly because we're going to push right across this road anyways. So I'm just going to highlight all of these guys and say just go to there for the moment. And I'm going to design a force up there. These guys are more of just a defensive force, so this isn't much of a big deal. These guys are just there to stop the Russians from possibly pushing along the north. And then this will be our main assault force into the Murmansk area. I think that should be a wide enough frontage there, and they're just going to push right in. Right along this road, whatever the name of that road is. One more, that wouldn't be too bad. Make sure we got at least 2 infantry units for every single one. Let's sit that and let that go for the next little bit. Okay, so that's 2 infantry per. We'll throw a mechanized unit in there as well. I was going to say, I thought we didn't have that many mechanized units for a second. There we go. No logistics units. All of our logistics seem to be down. That might be a bit of a problem. If we get into a drawn-out fight... Well, all our armor is down south too. Oh, come on, just one more tank. No? We need one more tank to make that. Tell me I've got a tank in reserve. Not yet. Boo. How soon until we have 48 days? Do I have a... I do. Question is, do I want to remove some of the armor from these guys? Armor will probably be the slowest part of this. Yeah, I'm going to take one tank. Move it up here. Position in there. They've got two. I mean, this is going to be our main offensive unit if Russia declares war on us, so... Where are we spending money? Is it on military goods? No, it's not. It's electric power from the looks of it. I mean, the question is, if we built... We build one nuclear reactor and then deploy a second one. Like build one at a time. Though hydropower does take, I mean, it costs a lot less, but doesn't produce as much though. So we'll do 2 nuclear power plants. Or no, just one for the moment. All you. And say construction. There. Some more research breakthroughs. We're almost at half capacity when it comes to research. Our military is in defensive positions in case the Russians attack. And offensive positions to counter a Russian attack. Look at that. We're doing pretty good here. Boom. There we go. We have our reserves right here. So if this assault ever failed, we have these guys to call upon to actually push in further and help take these locations. Or even these guys can swing in actually down here maybe and help cut off that way. What I might do is just order these guys to go under reserve for the moment anyways. So that way everyone will be in a good spot if they are needed. And there we go. Send some of our forces into reserve. We've got our aircraft up and keeping an eye on things. We're going to send another one up here. And I'm going to get it to go across the coast here. I don't trust the Russians. I have a really bad feeling about the Russians at this point. I think they will at some point attack. I think it's a matter of when, not if. do like the fact that the Russians no longer control all of this, no matter what. They used to have just a generic line that used to go straight north from here. That no longer exists. Because now you can actually go above the north. They're like the Northwest Passage. Alright, so the Russians don't seem to have that many units up there. If I had the money, I would try to buy some spy aircraft from the Americans. And then use those spy aircraft to fly over Russia. And get a good, LOS of their territory and stuff like that, but I think I'm going to order our Navy at this point to go into reserve here near Helsinki. Get them in reserve, get them up. Actually, no, that's too close to the Russian Navy, actually. Go there, actually. Yeah, go here. In Archer Vineyard. We'll put our troops in there and our warships in there and let them just kind of feel better and apparently deploy a bunch of light infantry. Most of the Russians, I mean, with the world tensions going down, that's a good sign. That tells me that we're no longer maybe under threat from the Russians. But at the same time, I also don't want to withdraw my forces from the border there. Because I'm definitely nervous. Look at that. We're actually in our own theater, which is perfect. Northern Europe. Eastern Europe. Northern Europe. Is England part of the Northern Europe theater, or is it on its own? Nope. It's part of the Northern European theater as well. Good to know. Then I'm going to assume Western Europe is there. That's Eastern Europe. What is it? Central Europe? Central Europe, okay. I call this like Eurasia almost. So West, Central, East, North, and then North Africa. As far as the Mediterranean isn't on its own. Kind of like how the Atlantic is. The north and south. We'll look at our battle zones here. Now, theoretically, we can say battle zone control. Maximize garrisons. High priority. Defensive focus. Battle zone here. Maximize garrisons. Then defensive. I mean, I usually use those mostly when it comes to stuff like that. I like to control my military. Because I find the AI at times doesn't really do things properly. It has set up hot zones though, which is pretty good. I can also tell it for... I mean, I had no military facilities here. I'm not really too worried about Because I mean, here we have the highway here, so I mean we can move artillery and stuff like that here real fast. If the if the Germans declared war on us, so that's no big deal. I think we're gonna get that done in time before we run out of money. Yeah, I'm actually surprised the Russians didn't declare war. I mean, it's good because that way that gives us more time to build. 117 units in reserve, eh? I just had a really good idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build a lot of basic infantry. And I'm actually going to order them to these locations here with the really cheap artillery. And then what we're going to do is basically send everyone else into reserve. So that way we have just basic crappy infantry with crappy artillery that's there basically to soak up an initial attack by the Russians if need be. That gives us more flexibility because a lot of the rest of our military force is mobile, highly mobile. So if we use infantry with towed artillery as defensive, then we should be able to hold positions really well, especially if they're entrenched with artillery. The infantry will probably get chewed up pretty good if it gets attacked, but we'll be able to hold because we'll just have massive amount of artillery. I should build a barracks here or here. Because I'm just looking like all these units are highly mobile and would be suited more for a mobile style of warfare. By sticking them on in trenches kind of defeats the purpose of them being highly mobile. So yeah, you have 2 tanks. Good to know. You are gonna go to reserve there. But the plan will be to basically use our highly mobile forces just as that highly mobile forces. Sticking them in trenches, I kind of realized not the best of ideas. What I'm actually going to do temporarily is stop building all the good stuff and switch over to the little the crappy infantry and stuff like that. Just temporarily. Switch over to the other stuff, build them up. Nice big fortification. Them as defensive forces. Have them kind of set up around here. Even maybe set up some fortifications here. What is that? It's a river. So we can set up some fortifications here and even here. And or even maybe just that actual nice defensive line there maybe. But the plan will be to have some defensive fortifications in case we get declared on. This will also give us the ability to put... Oh, well there you go. The Germans declared war on us, not the Russians. So... our entire... Okay, these guys are all going to stay there. I'm a little nervous the Russians will, or the Germans will still declare war on us. So I'm actually going to turn all that back on. It's a good thing I never actually stopped deploying stuff. Well, deploy everybody. Our Navy is going to immediately head... Actually, I'm going to hold them off for a little bit. Give them a few moments. They're going to definitely push really well here. Heading to work. I love you. Bye. Bye. We're going to send our forces there ASAP at least. Have our Navy position itself there. At least that'll stop any possible advances further in. Oh, perfect. So it looks like we're going to war with the Germans. Wow, they're already using... Wow! That's a lot of land units right there. On the bright side, they don't know what to do with them. So the rest of our reserves are being deployed now. Where we have some fighting going on. I don't know where that fighting's going on. Oh, right there. So we got some partisan units starting up in Finland here. Good to know. We're gonna have to watch the Danes as well, or the Norwegians. On the bright side, as our force comes further south, we'll be able to hopefully use... the Germans have the artillery that we have Hmm. Slowly moving our units here. I'm not going to lose this island. I'm not going to lose this island. The moment I lose this island, the moment that's the same moment that I'm going to get completely and utterly boned. Well, this is definitely not going the way I was hoping. Problem here is that I also cannot lose now this military facility. If I do, the big problem here is that I don't have that many anti-tank weapons. I'm gonna lose that one. See, unlike the Germans, I'm actually reinforcing and repairing on the fly. So they've actually got me outgunned pretty good. But I've been able to grind these guys up pretty well, so. My plan is to start a push over here in a minute. Good thing about this is my light infantry is a lot faster than their infantry, so I can actually get things moving quite faster than they can. Go there. Also, our aircraft. We can swap out what we're actually building here. Because we officially have the J-45 Falk. I believe that is our version of the Joint Strike Fighter. I'd have to double check that, but I'm under the belief there. Keep bringing down more artillery to engage down here. both going to repair. You're going to be supported by YouTube. This is hopefully take some pressure off of this. I see units are drawing there. I'm not so much concerned about the surviving units here. There's the hope. Just that these guys can take the pressure off. We've actually started grinding the Germans down. So we're doing okay. Sorry for the lack of talking here.
We need reinforcements.
So you, and you. Going for repair. Repair. So you, and you are all going to repair. Everyone else is going to push. In the meantime, these two guns are going to come out this way. Send a leopard to help those guys out, as well as 3 of those guns. Those guys. And those guys. And you're going to go repair. These guys are going to hold pretty good. My only worry is that they can use the Navy here to cut this island off altogether. If they do, we're in some trouble. Send those guys for repair. China Cuba send an alliance. Good to know. Gonna set up all my reserves to come back. We're going to keep our units to this position here, actually. See, what I like about this is the fact that I can actually swap out units on the fly here. Oh, they're pushing over here again as well. Just deploying more units to the front. Do we not have an airbase around here somewhere? Either way, I'm going to order them just to go there because they're going to obliterate these. By shooting down these transport aircraft, we can actually we're actually going to do them a massive amount of damage here. These things are expensive to replace. So it looks like we've actually kind of held ourselves against the Germans so far. Nope, that nuclear reactor is good to go. Forces along the border here, in case the British, in case the Germans do decide to attack. Still holding up, actually, pretty good. Front over here is holding up pretty good. Alright, so I think that's going to be the end of this episode. The little one, wow, almost 1 hour, or almost 95 minutes or so. Hour and 12 minutes episode. Like I said, this is going to be the only episode for today. I'm trying to get some other crap working. Hopefully, fingers crossed I can. But until next time, thanks for watching. See you in the battlefield.